40 years and 4 months ago, the visionary man whose fulfilled dream became a reality, known as the iconic star-powered Coconut Grove Playhouse, passed away in Fort Lauderdale after a long, well-lived, well-loved life. After bringing the greatest contribution to the culture and the arts Miami and South Florida has ever known. The Playhouse's reputation and renowned certainty became well-known and beloved on a national level as well. If not for that man, none of us would be in this room today. The visionary man was my grandfather, and I, George S. Engel III, couldn't be prouder to carry his name. My grandfather, George Engel, was not raised in a family with much money. They struggled. Then they became wealthy in the oil field industry, but happily gave it all up to seek greater gold in a place known as the Magic City. To search for and foster something so valuable you can't even touch it because it exists in the heart. Something more valuable, more enriching than money. He abandoned the oil industry and moved to Miami in the 1940s to bring culture, enlightenment, spirit, and a sense of pride and identity to an entire city and a nation that just went through the horrors of World War II. The legacy he created and maintained on Main Highway and Charles Avenue is unmatched. It was his gift of love to all of us. And the rest of what happened after he opened his first show on January 3rd, 1956, as they say, history, it needs no elaboration, because anyone who has lived here longer than a mere several years knows what the Coconut Grove Playhouse was, how famous and special it was, and what it meant to millions of people the world over. The names of legendary Hollywood and Broadway stars, playwrights, and directors who regularly worked at the Coconut Grove Playhouse for 50 years is well known and well publicized, and is something we may never see the likes of ever again if we do nothing to stop this ill-conceived plan which underutilizes the land and the brand of the great Coconut Grove Playhouse. The county plan undermines the will of our county citizens who voted overwhelmingly to use our taxpayer-funded bonded money to restore our gem of a theater, not tear it down and shrink it to make it room for retail condos and a massive parking garage. I implore you to speak most assuredly on behalf of my grandfather, who created the Playhouse and who without question would be appalled if he were here today at what is being planned, and on behalf of myself and my city, to honor what the people want, not just what one man in county government wants. My grandfather gave up his riches to give us something richer than monetary riches, to throw all that away just to think small in a city so large is beyond comprehension. Just as it is beyond comprehension why an offer by actor Kevin Spacey to become involved in running the Coconut Grove Playhouse would be rejected by the same man who wants to tear it down. And just as it is beyond comprehension why no other theater companies were allowed to bid on the project to run the programming. We will never have this opportunity again, just as they removed the Engel Building, 1954, off the drugstore building, which also my grandfather had constructed. They will never put it back. That is history that has been removed and will never be replaced. This is it. We have a once-in-a-lifetime chance to bring my grandfather's great theater back to greatness. Don't be afraid to speak your mind. This theater belongs to us, not any politician. A national treasure, fully preserved, restored, and modified as a large state of the art 21st century, 800 to 1,000 seat Coconut Grove Playhouse, run by Kevin Spacey, is exactly what Miami deserves. Sarasota, successful, large regional theater, so does Jupiter. Atlanta, Little Rock, Philadelphia, New York, Boston, Minneapolis, Houston, Denver, San Diego, LA, Phoenix, Cleveland, San Francisco, Seattle, dozens more. And many of these are historic theaters that were in far worse shape than our Playhouse. Yet they were restored, and they are here today, thriving and surviving. Only Miami lacks a regional resident theater and the rest of the county has. If other cities can support over 800 seats, and if they can finance it, so can we. We are a very rich city. It's what we voted to do. Our same local government that alleges we can't economically sustain more than 300 seats for a world-class regional theater is the same government that didn't think twice about spending $2.1 billion to build a baseball stadium they knew had no sustainability of people to fill the seats. Tourists and locals don't care to visit communities that are homogenized replicas of cookie-cutter shopping plazas that can be found all over America, ladies and gentlemen. They won't travel to Miami, to a neighborhood that looks like 1,000 other shopping centers in the nation. But you know where the tourists and locals do go in large numbers? They go most to the two communities that not coincidentally preserve and embrace their beautiful history: South Beach Art Deco District and Coral Gables, the two most beautiful neighborhoods in Miami. That's where the tourism money is going. Extensive studies by the State of Florida Historic Trust have proven that historic preservation equals a robust economy and the most tourist traffic. Meanwhile, the politicians and the developers who finance them are killing the very thing that made everyone want to come to Coconut Grove and the Playhouse in the first place. This has to stop. And I urge everyone in this room and beyond to stand up and tell the county officials you do not give them permission to spend our money on our Playhouse in a way we never agreed to. This was a bait and switch plan from the beginning. We must stop this before the Magic City loses yet even more of its magic. Thank you.